We are joined once again, I suppose for the final time, although, Rachel, you're welcome anytime. The final time during the finals, anyway, host of The Jump, Rachel Nichols. And, Rachel, we had most of LeBron's press conference here on our show, and obviously the hand injury is a big deal. And I thought, I'm not a body language expert, but he seemed comfortable. He smiled quite a bit and was reflective, and obviously a zillion questions about the future. I'm wondering, you're in the room, what stood out to you? What was your takeaway?
Well, just how prepared he was for this moment and how that's shifted and changed over the years. I first interviewed LeBron when he was a senior in high school, Scott. So obviously everyone grows up from that age to now. He's a 33-year-old man with 3 kids, a wife, and a boatload of experience behind him. And watching him in these moments, this last game of the season, I've seen him in wins when he's won the NBA Finals. I've seen him several times, obviously, when he has lost the NBA Finals. And you remember some of those press conferences in those 6 NBA Finals losses. They haven't all been graceful, right? There's been a couple quotes there that we remember for a long time, things that have stuck with him. This time, he really got it right, and I think that shows his maturity, and we've seen that really through this entire run with Cleveland, starting with the letter that he penned in Sports Illustrated to come back. Very different way to change teams than, say, the decision. And really since then, he's handled things in such a sort of mature and expected way, and I think that's what we saw tonight. And it showed, because this is a very difficult press conference to give. You've got the injury, you've got losing to the Warriors, you've got his future, and he managed all of it, and that just shows me he has grown up.
I agree. I thought he did a great job. I thought there were a lot of good questions, too, which helped get really good, interesting answers. And when it comes to the decision he'll make, and I'm paraphrasing, but he said that the people that have been with him for the last 20 years are the ones that are going to get a vote, and then ultimately it comes down to him. How much weight will be given, or maybe not how much weight, but what do you think the weight will be given to when it comes to him deciding where he wants to be next year?
Well, he mentioned his family, and certainly that is huge. He mentioned the age of his kids. That's going to be a big deal. He didn't specifically mention his wife, Savannah, but she is a partner in every way on this kind of stuff. Also, the community here, it is a big deal. I asked him about having the word Cleveland across his chest, because he and I have had that conversation quite a bit. It means something to him to play for the place where he grew up, to play for these people, to give them a sense that it matters to be there for someone, that he came back for them. That was a big deal to him. And, of course, his stuff in the community, I know people just sort of see that as blah, blah rhetoric. Yeah, athletes do charity work. But he has created some generational change in his hometown of Akron that is also very important to him. And, of course, he can do that from wherever he plays. But actually being here and interacting with these kids during the course of the season, which he has done these last 4 years, that is a big deal to him. So all of that is going to factor in. But I also thought it was interesting that I would say in every single press conference, I'll have to go back and check, that he's given in the last 4 days, he has talked about smart players, having smart players around him, talented players around him. And the fact that he has made that a specific condition so many times makes me think that he wants to be surrounded by guys that he feels are on that higher level. He talked about it. Steve Kerr talked about it. The talent disparity tonight and sort of the basketball mindset disparity between these two teams has been pretty remarkable. And I think that will all play into his decision quite a bit. As he pointed out, he doesn't think he's done yet. He thinks he can still win titles. And
just a thought on a Golden State team that's not done yet either. They could win a bunch more. You're in the building for what was frankly a dud of a game. I mean, it was garbage time for most of the fourth quarter. You've observed this Golden State team during this 4-year run. What was notable about just their celebrating the 3rd and 4 years?
Well, I thought the end of the game was interesting because, yes, it was not beautiful basketball by any respect on either side. But certainly, right, the popcorn sort of watch for the last half was, okay, we know who's winning this game. We know who's winning the NBA Finals. Who's going to win MVP, right? And you felt like Steph was kind of making a little bit of a push with it for some of those shots. But what I thought was so interesting was that both Steph and KD gave up the ball numerous times. Neither one of them rushed down the court and, tried to make the bad basketball play. If either one of them took a shot, it was because it was the right shot to take. And I think that was so instructive about this team that even in this moment, when all the important stuff was already decided, and you could maybe forgive these guys for giving a little room to have a little individual showdown there between them.
Sure.
They didn't do it. They were more interested in playing and winning as a team. And that tells you more about this team's future than anything else. Kevin Durant and I sat down the other day, and he said, I intend to re-sign with Golden State. Klay Thompson has said he would take a pay cut not a pay cut, but a discount, let's say that, to stay with this team, that he's interested in winning titles. That tells you that the sacrifice on this team, it hasn't worn out after these 4 years. That's a lot.
Yep, it's human nature. So you just wonder if it ever fractures. At the moment, they look like an unbeatable force. So we'll see how long that continues. Rachel, appreciate the time throughout the series and look forward to talking again. Be well, okay?
Thanks. Absolutely.